for me, using as many sources as I can and many perspectives as I can is critical. I mean, for example, I consume probably read about 4 newspapers a day and there are thinkers that I consult and seek. I see conflicting opinions on you know I don't know. Take the election for example, um, and for me, with my students, I try to present the reality that multiple truths can exist at the same time. There often isn't one truth, that many things can be true at the same time and they don't mutually exclude each other.
I deal with subjectivity through the use of, substantive evidence from valid sources. So, you could say that Henry, is my dog. You could say Henry is a cat. And I would say, well, where do you get that from? Where is that truth coming from? And if you could prove to me with much substantive evidence that Henry was a cat, then that could come to the truth. But you're not going to be able to find enough detailed evidence to show that he is a cat, and therefore you won't be able to prove it. So I feel like the truth has to be proven with evidence.
When I'm deciding what to teach or how I teach, there's a couple things I would consider. Obviously, there's the background I got as a physics major, and I would consider that. But then also, I'll look into physics education research, and I'll see what methods tend to be effective in getting certain things across. I think about what I consider to be challenging questions, and I think about what things will make you think, to sort of really challenge what your sense of the truth actually is. Because one thing that comes out of physics education that we see is that because you lived in the physical world for 16, 17, 18 years, you already have a sense of what's true and a feeling of what's true, and that's pretty hard to break. So I could just tell you a fact and say memorize it, but if I gave you a slight version of that that's different, you could easily revert back to what you think is true anyway. So trying to teach things in a way that really gets you to combat your view of what you think is true to what actually is true, scientifically shown to be true. I try to present things that I consider to be either, I guess you call a scientific fact, so something that's scientifically shown to be true, or if I present something that I guess is on the boundary of what is considered scientific knowledge or scientific fact, then I'll try to present it that way, so that it's always, you're looking at it from the perspective of what's what's based in science, what evidence there is, and certainly I think everything should be evidence-based, obviously from a science perspective.
Before I transfer information to other students, they're going to be looking at it as, wrongly so, the one given truth. But on the other hand, I want to know that I'm giving them at least the best interpretation I possibly can.
Okay. Justifiable material, I guess it could be any. As a scientist, I would say anything that is peer-reviewed and has multiple proofs.